Hey, in this video, I'm going to go over our Lightkey setup at our church on our 2019 iMac utilizing 24 DMX addresses over our Chauvet Net-X DMX converter. If you're looking into upgrading to Lightkey either from a physical controller or maybe an older software, then this video is for you. I'm going to show you the pros and cons that we've experienced, and there's definitely some of both. So previously, I've tried using a USB DMX converter. I think it was an Intech unit. And it gave me a problem where it would just flicker on and off randomly. Obviously, that's a no-go. And I did some research and couldn't really figure out why. I got some answers that weren't conclusive, but Josh Nasser from Budget Church Live Streaming on YouTube, he posted a video about his network DMX converter, and I was pretty skeptical about it, but then I messaged him and asked how reliable it's been, and he said it's actually been really reliable. So I went ahead and got one, and it's worked really well for us. The only problem we've had with it is if Lightkey needs an update, it doesn't connect anymore. You have to update Lightkey for it to work properly. That might be the case with any kind of converter. That's just one thing I've noticed with our setup. Okay, so let's get into how things are set up here in Lightkey. We were just on the free version because that's really all that we need. We're using one universe. I can't remember, I think it gives you 24 that you can use for free. I'll double check that and put it up on the screen. But we just have our key lights mapped to number 1, just a simple on off for that. And then we have some curtain wash lights that are using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 settings. So that would be RGB, white, amber, and UV. And then all of those are just mapped to the same DMX, so they all do the same exact thing. Then we have a line of background washes for the instrumentalist, so the back half of the stage. And then the same thing for the vocalist on the front half of the stage, or whoever's speaking. We could have a lot more fun with this if we wanted to and make it to where they can all be different colors, but I don't really care to do that, and this works fine for us. So we've just been here on the free version. And Lightkey did recognize all of our American DJ fixtures, which is what all of these are, and then our Chauvet Eve key lights. So here inside of Lightkey, I've built out our stage. So you have the front platform here, which is where the vocalist and whoever's speaking would stand. These are the American DJ wash fixtures that would be backlighting the front part of the stage. In physical space, they're more like above this section of the stage, so that's why I have it set up that way, and then they project this direction. And then I have a line of them here that are projecting pretty much this whole portion of the stage, the back square here. Then we have the curtain washes, which are obviously just projecting upwards onto the curtain. And this black thing here is just the LED wall for visual reference. And then we have our key lights, which would be, at the front of the stage projecting onto the front platform. The key lights don't project onto this part of the stage at all. So anybody that's on this back portion of the stage is just being backlit. I'll throw up some video footage from a live stream to show you what that looks like. And then over here on the right, we have some scenes that I've built. So each Sunday, I just have one motion background that I use for the whole worship set. And then I just, build out a scene of lighting for that. And then for the sermon portion of the service, I use the same background for an entire month. And so then I just build this out once a month right here and then just rename it to the month so I remember when that was. Then I have a preset for when we're practicing or rehearsing, and it's just some backlighting that's lighting up everything on the stage with some warm look to it. And then we have a pre-service preset here that is just all white backlighting. Beyond that, there's just some preset cues for just some generic stuff that people might want outside of a Sunday. So front wash, 100%, 75, and 50%, and then some colors that they can throw up on the back wash. And then down here is just some random presets I've had for some random events that I haven't deleted yet. So moving on to the live tab down here is the actual buttons that ProPresenter is triggering whenever it plays a cue. So over here are the ones that we use all the time. These are some buttons from Easter. I had a lot more complicated lighting scenes going on for that, and I just haven't deleted those yet, so they're still right there. But right now, let's just look at this portion right here. So we have a button for our rehearsal lighting, which I don't really even need because I can just cue it from the scene. And then we have pre-service, we have worship, we have message. And then sometimes if there's a big shout of praise moment, I like to do an all on button. So it's just everything's nice and bright and white. So I have that button option if I need that. But for the most part, it's just these three getting used every Sunday. The reason that you would set up a button down here is that you can obviously control a lot more about it than you can with a scene. So you can control what the control type is, how it behaves, the priority, color, And then this is where you set up your triggers for stuff. So what I do before every Sunday is I pick a motion background. I use churchmotiongraphics.com for a lot of our stuff. And then I go here and I go to my fixtures and I design the look of them so that they match the motion background. Usually the curtain wash is just matching the color of the motion background so that it kind of has a cohesive look. And then again with these, I might have some fun with the colors of these, make these 2 rows, 2 different colors, which has a pretty cool look sometimes. So you can see you can mix these differently. And then for worship, I'm usually having these at about 45%. For the message, I'd have those at 100%, so on and so forth. So it's pretty easy here. You can see you select one of these, and if they're all addressed to the same DMX, obviously you only have to click one and it's going to change all of them the same way. Once I have that set, I go over here and I go to my scenes and I just right click and add overrides. And then it's going to override this look to that scene. And then the button for, let's say this is for worship, the button for this is already linked to this scene, so I don't have to do anything with that button after that. All right, now I also have a Stream Deck down here at the computer that has some buttons for different things. So they can cue the pre-service button down here, they can cue the worship one, the message button, and then the rehearsal button. So every Sunday when I come in, obviously we're gonna rehearse first thing, so it's pretty easy to just have this button right here. As soon as I open Lightkey, I just hit that on the Stream Deck and it's on and good to go. And then I have a button here to clear every kind of command that Lightkey might have entered. So for some reason, I don't know why, but if you have these set up like this and you go and you click pre-service and then you go click worship and then you go click message, it's just building these all on top of each other. So it's fine until you need to go back maybe to one you've already built, and it gets a little messy and starts mixing things and gets confused. So if you're not sure what's queued or anything, you just want to go to a blank slate, I have that clear all button, which was pretty interesting to set up. So I had this as a multi-action button, and then it is deactivating cues, and it's also deactivating presets just to make sure that none of these buttons are pressed and also none of these scenes over here are set. So that was a little bit of a challenge to set up, but not too bad. As far as setting up the buttons, you just had to download a plugin called OSC Remote, which connects to it really easily, and then you just get the proper address, all this stuff correct. And it's really pretty easy. I looked up a video on YouTube and it was simple. Then again, just quick buttons for people to use if they want to throw up some color on the stage or if they want the key lighting turned on. Because obviously most people are not going to be able to hop in here and figure this out, so they just need a quick button to be able to do a few different things. Now hopping over here to ProPresenter, let's talk about how we cue Lightkey to send up all these commands. As long as everything is working properly, the person back here at the computer is just kind of overseeing everything, and automation is taking care of all of the changes and all of that. So obviously there's been times where the automation was not working properly, which is why we have a person back here so they can manually change things, cue slides, all that good stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on the pre-service Lightkey preset down here, the button. So after we're done rehearsing, we have 30 minutes before service starts, and that's the first thing that I come back here and do is I make sure there's no buttons being pressed, that rehearsal is turned off, and then I turn on pre-service. Because like I said, these are all gonna stack on top of each other if you click them. And I haven't figured out a way to get these to, let's say we move to the worship setting, to turn this one off when another one is activated. I've done some research and I can't figure out how to change that setting in Lightkey. If you know, let me know down in the comments, because it seems like from my point of view here, the only options I have for behavior is toggle and flash, and flash didn't work whenever I tried it, so it's got a toggle. Beginning of service, we have pre-service turned on, and then we come over here and our backing tracks are going to cue the first slide of the first song, because the backing tracks are cueing all of the lyric slides. So it hits that first slide and you can see the stage just changed. Obviously there would be a motion background with that as well, but I don't have the screen turned on at the moment. So what we have going on here is I have 2 actions set up with a mini note on, and one action is set to toggle pre-service and one action is set to toggle worship. Obviously when it does that, pre-service is already turned on, so that toggle is going to turn it off, and then the one for worship is going to toggle it on because it wasn't on to begin with. And then basically the same thing is going to happen whenever we get to the sermon slide here. So it's got a toggle for the worship lighting and a toggle for the message lighting. And you can see it changes that, and it went and it turned off that worship setting. That's pretty simple. If you go over here to the edit, you can go and you can set up your crossfade length and stuff like that. Change all this stuff from here as well. And then you can also rearrange how these look. So in this video, I'm not going to get into how to set up all of these cues and everything because it's a lot to get into. I'll leave some videos linked below that helped me out whenever I was figuring this out. It's a little bit complicated at first if you've never set this kind of stuff up, but once you get the hang of it, it all kind of makes sense. So switching over to Lightkey, worth it? For the most part, yes. It's been really nice to have more automation. If you're willing to put in the time before Sunday to set up automation, it's just gonna make your Sundays be more smooth and things be perfectly on time every time. It also frees up time from people back here to be doing monotonous things like changing lyrics or changing lighting cues, so on and so forth. But if you like people to be able to do that, then this really might not be the best solution for you. If you're currently using a physical lighting board and it's working for you, this really just introduces more failure points, so I really wouldn't recommend it. The reason that I switched to Lightkey is that I wanted ProPresenter slides to cue the lighting. That way, whenever lighting needs to switch, like the first slide of the first song, it does it perfectly on time with a perfect crossfade. And the same thing for when we switch over to the sermon, everything just crossfades really nicely. You can get really creative with automation, and I've had a lot of fun with it on special services like for Easter, but it does take a lot of setup time on the front end. A couple things that I don't like about it, one being that obviously you have to have this software opened up on the iMac at all times to be able to turn any stage lighting on. That wasn't the case whenever we had a physical lighting board. As long as the lighting board was on, which we always just left it on, you could just go and you could turn up anything you wanted to, and you didn't have to worry about the computer being up and running. Like I said before, there's also just more failure points to diagnose if something goes wrong. Like if your network DMX converter is going wrong, that's a really complicated thing to diagnose, and most people are not going to be able to do that if you're not there or if you don't have somebody that knows their way around that. There's also been times that ProPresenter has had bugs and it's not sending MIDI cues properly. Things just aren't communicating from app to app, and that's a pain in the butt as well. There were never any bugs with our old physical light board. We were a lot more limited with that light board, but it was just a lot more straightforward. Building scenes on that lighting board was kind of a pain in the butt, and you kind of had to know what you were doing with that. But if you just wanted to turn fixtures on and kind of mix things from scratch, that was really easy for someone that had no idea how to operate the lighting board to figure out. That really cannot be said about Lightkey. Obviously, when I just showed it to you, it didn't really look that complicated to mix all of your fixtures and get everything looking how you want it to. But for somebody that doesn't have any background in that kind of software, it's a little complicated. It usually means that I have to come up here on my own time and set up the lighting for them. As far as the user interface from the different apps that I've looked at, I feel like Lightkey is the most beginner friendly. Once everything is set up and working properly, for someone that's a little bit knowledgeable on this kind of stuff, it's an easy application to use. I think the thing that would take this to the next level is to probably have a better physical controller to control Lightkey with. The Stream Deck setup works fine and it gets you the essential buttons that you need. It's a little bit annoying to set up the Stream Deck, but once you have it going, it seems to work pretty well every Sunday. Every now and then I'll have to go and quit the Stream Deck app and restart it. It can be a little buggy at times, but for the most part, it's been pretty reliable. So should you upgrade to Lightkey from either a physical controller or maybe some older software? If any of the positives I've talked about in this video are enticing to you, I feel like you should go for it. But if what you have right now is working fine and you don't need any more features than what you currently have, I would just stick with what you have. It's gonna take some time to get all of this set up, get all of the applications communicating properly. It's a lot. And like I said, there's problems you're gonna have to diagnose from time to time. Maybe you already have problems with your current setup that you're having to diagnose anyway. So maybe this doesn't even sound that bad to you. I think Lightkey is a great value. It's probably the best solution for most churches, especially smaller churches. I think it's the most user-friendly, and it packs a lot of features into it. But like I said, just be aware, you're gonna have to diagnose some issues from time to time. That's just the way it goes whenever you introduce more technology into the process. I hope this video was helpful and I didn't ramble on too much. If you have any questions about the setup that I didn't answer in this video, feel free to ask in the comments. If you like this video, give it a like, and I'll see you next time.